Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. Today is a 4 for 4 and the palettes that I have worn 4 days each and have developed thoughts and opinions on are the Suva Rose Period palette, the Dominique Cosmetics Latte 2 palette, the Nars Cool Crush palette, and the Crime Prelude Chroma palette. So we're gonna start with this one actually, and this one I got recently when Ulta did their 21 Days of Beauty. It was half price. I think it's been on sale since then, so it could be half price in the very near future, so keep an eye out for that. Anyway, it is an 8-pan palette. You have a mix of shimmers and mattes, so you have 5 shimmers and 3 mattes. I'm going to swatch it really fast and then tell you my thoughts. All right, so that's what they look like. You can tell there's a lot of light shades in here. You can't really tell, but this one has this beautiful like blue shift to it. So when you layer it over one of the darker shades, it really just transforms it. So I had the dark purple on and then I put this one on over it. And oh, it looked really pretty. It was like this purple, blue, iridescent kind of thing. So I really do like that one. It doesn't show up very well. These are hard to apply. These shimmers don't want to really pick up on the fingers, and I felt like I really had to pack them on. So it wasn't my favorite because of that. I do like the color story. I love this gold, like that gold is so pretty. This is a color that I can wear on my brow bone a lot, this one as well. I wish maybe like another mid-tone instead of like maybe the blue, but the blue is pretty. It's just not something I find myself reaching for very much. But then I also really liked this. This would be a really good like everyday shimmer kind of shade. So I think it's a solid palette. I am glad I did not pay full price for it. $19 I think is a little steep for what it is. I don't think it's as good as some of their other palettes, but I did enjoy it. But yeah, they're pretty, but I don't know if they would work for everyone. All right, next up is the Latte 2 palette by Dominique Cosmetics. I picked this up at the Sephora sale, and actually just over the 4th of July, they had 25% off the entire site, which was pretty good. And I love the color story of this. I will say that right off the bat. It's just like neutral, but has those really pretty, but still kind of neutral pops on there. So I'm going to swatch it really fast for you and then I'll give you my thoughts. All right, so this one does have 7 mattes and 3 shimmers. That's what they all look like. There are those 2 really light colors. I really love those because of my skin tone. I'm always looking for shades like that to help set my base and the like. My favorite shade in this is this mustard that I just stuck my finger in. I just really love it. It looked really nice on the eyes. I thought it was a great crease color and just kind of blew out a look and then put a shimmer on. I just really loved the look that I created with it. I do really like the pink shade as well, and I love the shimmers. Like, they're just a really solid. This one feels a little bit different in texture than the other 2. It's a little more chunky, but none of them are like super chunky. They all go on really nice and smooth. I really was impressed with the formula, really impressed with the color story. Just a good everyday palette. Like, this would be a palette that gives you a few pops of color, but you can also, like, this is a great work palette. I really enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to playing with it for a long time to come. Just, yeah, really love this one. All right, next up is the Cool Crush palette by Nars. Now this one is a Nordstrom exclusive, so you do need to go on their website to pick it up. This is what it looks like. It does have those 2 pops of blue and then that like maroon, not maroon, but like brick color, and then just a lot of soft neutrals. I'm gonna tell you how much I love this palette before I even swatch it. This palette, I did a look on Instagram that I put up. Every look, every time I wore this, I was just like, I love this palette. I love the formula. I love how it blends. I just loved how beautiful it looked on. It's one of my favorite Nars palettes, and Nars has some of my favorite palettes. This one is so good. Better than a lot of them that I've gotten in more recent times. All right, I think part of the reason why I love this palette so much is because there's matte, satins, and shimmers. It's just a beautiful mix. This blue here is, oh, I love it. It's a beautiful shimmer. I love these two pinks and peaches, the gold, even like these shimmers over here. Oh, like I said, every shade that I used and I blended and it was effortless. This, I think, is a great palette if you struggle with your eye makeup a little bit, you struggle with making things look smooth and blended. This is one that does the work for you. It is expensive. I think this one is $59. Is that right? $39? I can't remember. I'll put the price down below when I list them, but really loved this one. This was one that I was afraid I was gonna lose out on, and I'm so glad that I got it, because this might be my favorite palette of 2020. All right, the final palette is the Rose Period palette by Suva Beauty. I got this in my Try Beauty box, and this is part of my Summer Blooms Project Pan, trying to use it at least 10 times over the course of the summer. I will have the link to that series or the most recent one right up here so you can see that as well. I'm gonna swatch it really fast. All right, and here they are. Now, I love this color story. I mean, pinks and purples, they're just really my sort of thing, what I just really gravitate towards on a regular basis. These two shades I find are very similar in nature. They look a little different on camera, but on the eyes, they perform pretty much the same. So that thing I don't really like as well. The shimmers are gorgeous. When I wear this, I'm like, oh, they're so pretty. Down here, I think I still had a little bit of like makeup remover wipe left over, so they swatched a little bit funky, but they perform better on the eyes than they did swatched here. So take that with a little grain of salt. I do really like this palette. I see myself using it quite a bit in the upcoming, my upcoming life, because these are shades that I really like. And I think it's a really pretty palette as well. Here's the hard part, ranking these four palettes. Last place, not the hardest, that's the Lime Crime Prelude Chroma palette. Man, that's a lot. Lime Crime Chroma Prelude Chroma. You get what I mean. And just because I don't feel like this is the most versatile, I don't feel like these have the best shimmers of any palettes that I've ever tried, or even the best shimmers of the palettes from today. So that's going to be fourth place. Where it gets tricky is where I do 2 and 3. I think I'm going to put Latte as number 2. And that's going to be purely for a personal reason, and that's because these are pretty similar on my eyes. I think if you have a deeper complexion, they probably would look more different, but that would be my only thing, is I wish this was more of a medium brown than, you know, just a little bit more difference between those two. But I do love this one, and I have enjoyed it so much. I have been really enjoying it. Then I would put the Rose palette in second place. I love the colors. I just really feel like I'm going to get a lot of wear out of it. I really liked how I looked when I wore this. Like sometimes I'm like, oh man, I see mistakes and I see like funky things with my eye look. This one I didn't have that issue with, so that's going to be in second place, which makes my number 1 the Nars Cool Crush, which big surprise because I said this is probably one of my favorite palettes of maybe even my favorite palette of 2020. I mean, we're only halfway through the year about, but yeah, I love this palette. I just, even though it's not super bright or colorful like I used to in the summer, just have really been enjoying it and just feel really pretty when I'm wearing it. And that's you know, important. Like, why? You don't want to make yourself feel ugly when you're wearing makeup, right? So yeah, this is my #1 palette. Have you tried any of these palettes? I realize these are all newer palettes, and that has not always been the case with my 444. I really am trying to just work through my collection and see what works for me, what doesn't work with me, and get those things passed along to other people who might enjoy them more. So let me know if you've tried these palettes, if you've been eyeing these palettes, what your thoughts and opinions are. I hope you are all having a fantastic day. I cannot wait to read your comments and reply to them. And I'll talk to you guys next time.